Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Good morning. Good morning. So glad that you can join us this morning. All right. So before we get started, if I can ask you to, you haven't done already, go to a 1Million Cups app and please check in. And once you check in, there's a prize. Ooh. Yeah, we like prizes. So, I'll give you maybe 10 seconds to check in.
It's a free coffee, isn't it?
I'm sorry, what?
Free coffee?
John, if this is their first time and they haven't downloaded the app, where do they need to go to download the app?
Good question.
That has
They
to
can
wait.
go to App Store or Google Android Store. Is that what you call it?
Play Store.
Play Store. Play Store. All right. So, all right. I'm going to ask Donnell to pick a number between 1 to 15.
Oh man, which number am I? Let me see. Let's do lucky number 3.
Number 3. All right. Number 3. Manuela Constant. Please come up.
Nice.
All right. Well, we're so thankful that you're here today. Yeah, this is our coveted 1Million Cups mug. So when you drink coffee or tea of your choice, you can think about 1Million. Yes, thank you. All right. Very cool. So if you haven't done already, please check in. So it's important because that way we know that you're here today, and also in the event that we, cancel the meeting or whatnot due to weather and stuff like that, we can notify you so you don't show up here and thinking that, hey, where's everybody? All right. So for those who are new, 1Million Cups is a Kaufman Foundation sponsor. We are a Fairfax County chapter. There are 160 chapters, over 160 chapters all across the nation that meets Wednesday morning in a forum like this. And it is a community where we get together, and every week we have a business owner who's going to come up and present their business, and followed by a business challenge. And as a group, we're trying to help solve that business challenge. So it's kind of like collective brain power, if you will. And so we do that on a weekly basis in a supportive and safe and supportive environment. So, all right. So as you can see, we're part of a community of entrepreneurs and business owners. And how you can be part of that is first coming to attending our weekly events like you're doing today. And also, I'm sure everyone has social media pages. Feel free to talk about 1Million Cups, tell your friends, tell your neighbors how great this event is, and I'm sure you can help us do that. And then, we get to a segment where we're gonna, get to the presentation segment where you can participate and engage. So that will definitely help us to expand our community. All right, so we couldn't be doing this without the help of our sponsors. First is our venue sponsor, Office Evolution, from Sylvia from Office Evolution. Come on.
Hey,
Hi, my name is Sylvia. I work with John at Office Evolution. We provide, come forward. We provide office space, shared office space, business addresses, conference rooms, and much more. So if you have any questions, just reach out to me and I'll give you a tour, or I try to answer your questions. So, and I also want to mention Office Evolution partnered with TriNet, which is a health insurance, and we also partnered with Paychecks. And Paychecks helps you with HR services, payroll, and 401k. And Office Evolution members get a big discount on both health insurance and HR services. I'm need HR services, payroll, and 401k. And as a matter of fact, we have a lunch and learn today with paychecks. So there's free pizza and salad, so feel free to come. Everybody's invited.
What
So
time?
at 12 at Office Evolution, across the lobby in our Washington conference room. Okay? Hope to see you there. Thank you.
Great, Sylvia.
How's coffee, everybody?
It's good.
Excellent.
Good coffee. Okay, so our next sponsor is a coffee sponsor for the month of February, and I'd like to ask Dave from Find, Start, and Grow and talk about his business. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm David Bracha, and I would like to first thank John and 1Million Cup for allowing me to sponsor this month with coffee. A little bit about Find, Start, Grow. So we're an information platform helping small businesses and entrepreneurs understand how to find, start, and grow their business. We recognize that starting a business is very difficult. Trying to figure out how to do it can be very complex, and there's a lot of information that's out there, but it's highly fragmented. And so we want to be able to centralize that information and make it readily available to you. As an entrepreneur, oftentimes you're left on your own to kind of figure things out. Platforms like this is great to bounce ideas and get feedback, but they're not here all the time. So you're again left on your own. When you burn the midnight candles to try to figure out how to grow your business. And so come check us out at Find, Start, Grow. If you have any questions or feedback, please reach out to me. I'm at David Find, Start, Grow. And all right, thank you.
All right. So, like I said, we do it every Wednesday. We meet every Wednesday morning, and we couldn't do this without the help of volunteer organizers. So I would like to recognize those volunteers. If you can stand up, and then just introduce yourself.
Jen Dalton with Fred Bear.
Donnell Johns, Veterans Grove, Virginia.
Tony Barnett with End Goal Resources.
Mayosha Mendes with the Transformational Education Adventure Center.
Russ McIntosh, Vision Idea Design.
John Riedenberg, cccSolutions.com.
Great, thank you. Woo! A lot of new faces this morning. If I can just show hands, if you're new today, very good. Wow. New for this one. No.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, thank you. So let me, since we're part of the community, we want to see who's here today. So if I can just go, we can just go around, just say your name, just the business, and then we just kind of do that. So why don't
No
we-
elevators.
Yeah, no elevators. just say your name and yeah.
Hello, good morning. I'm Natasha Hines, the CEO of Keep Your Hair Headgear.
You be presenting, so we'll get that. Okay, next.
Mary Smith, starting a business called Mary F.R. Smith.
What does the FR stand for? No.
Oh, you had to put a wrench into it.
Oh, we're down to me.
All right.
Chris Tomseth, Backpacker Panda.
Lisa Suku, I'm with the Climb Personal Training.
Okay, we'll do this through front row here, up front.
Good morning. My name is Jeff Englander, and I'm with Quimino Cybersecurity.
Good morning, I'm Magali Garza. I'm with K2 Global Strategies.
Okay, move back.
I'm Mary Posiask, and I'm with Schooley Mitchell, Cost Consultants.
Rosemary Savino with Gravitate. We power your organizing team.
Gazan for Mansour Technology Rivers, we build software.
Cleveland Parker Corporate Group.
Okay, in the back.
Sure, John Wheatman with the Entrepreneur Store and Jonathan Wheatman, attorney at Law LLC.
Valerie Giomioni with Ting Fiber Internet.
Graham Dodge, I'm the Executive Director of the Mid-Atlantic Gigabit Innovation Collaboratory.
Wow. And we'll be back.
Basil Limbat, Networking Breakfast Club and Expo. Thank you.
Tom Scheib, along with Foster Realty, specializing in senior marketplace.
Alan Anderson, I help small businesses with their sales.
Dave Bracha, founder of Find, Start, Grow.
Tamar Anderson, Boss Actions Hiring Strategy.
Dan Linder, Golden Rule Home Watching Concierge.
Justin Wilson, Paychecks.
John Lippitz, Fish and Explore. We fish and explore.
Camp registration open today, folks, so summer camps are in full registration mode. Thanks.
Fantastic. So yeah, we have a wide diverse group of people. Did I miss anybody? Oh yeah, how about?
Ariana Williams, I'm a real estate broker with Uber and Lyft Real Estate.
Okay. And last but not least, someone just walked in today.
Hello.
Say your name and your business.
Hi, my name is Melissa Kane. I'm the owner of Queen Space Natural Hair Accessories.
Welcome. Yeah. All right. So the moment we've all been waiting for today, highlight of our meeting.
Can I ask you one quick question?
Sure.
I haven't been able to find the parking pass for the past couple of weeks. I don't see how to access the app through it, and I'm not getting the email.
It's I love that you think we're that digital. There's a paper one over here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That you
All right.
can grab.
Sorry.
No worries. No worries. Okay. So the way the format that we're gonna do is we'll have Rodney come up and present his business with a business challenge, and you have the index card in front of you. So feel free to use that to either provide your questions or comments or feedback. And after he's done, our Big John's gonna come up sort of and moderate the whole Q&A session. So with that, Ronnie, why don't you come up?
All right. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right. Well, I'm very excited to be here. So again, my name is Rodney Watkins. I'm the founder and CEO of Obsidian, which we are in the business of green ride sharing, as it says here, greener for more affordable rides. So, as we said before, for John, he was saying that we actually have a challenge question. And I think actually this is a great format because it helps me with the current challenges of my business. So as the question up there says, how do I help to build and find a network of partners and suppliers that can make my business lean and effective? And I'll explain very quickly what I mean by that. So I think it was Dave who mentioned where starting a business is not easy. It's fun when you first want to do it and then it gets difficult. So one of the challenges we have is this is a unique concept. It's a green ride sharing network. So how do we build it? And you know, I've had meetings with people, come up with solutions, but it's some reason it doesn't have that right fit. And so this is a perfect opportunity here with people who come from various industries and services to be able to say, here are my concept and give me some suggestions is there. You know, I'm always open to feedback. So keep this question in mind as I'm doing my presentation. I'd love to hear your feedback. So background of this is that, you know, we're still in the startup stage, as I mentioned before. We're trying to develop our resources, allocate, get everything together correctly. Also, additionally, as we said before, it's environmentally conscious delivery and ride sharing services. So you hear about the ride sharing part, but the delivery part is where you have certain companies who do online classifieds such as Craigslist, eBay, all those. You know, you have this, you know, the classic story where somebody goes, they do the local pickup and delivery. But there's a lot of people who don't really want to do that. And as you can see by the weather outside, nobody wants to be outside selling products. So we're also partnering with some people as well to do those services where we actually provide the local delivery, pickup, and exchange in that case for them as well, with the green aspect. And then additionally, we want to say our target audience is 18 to 35, college educated, annual income $50,000 or more. That's what we want, but you know, it's not sometimes realistic. Who live in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area for now, more in an urban setting, but also people who are really about being green, being tech, you know, the people who may not even know about electric cars, but once they have the opportunity to ride an electric car, they say, wow, this is amazing, tell me more about it, I'll be interested. There was actually a recent survey that said that 85% of people who actually get into an electric car and try it out are actually interested in buying. And as you know, it's 2020, it's the year of the electric car. We saw ads on the Super Bowl concerning the green Hummer and Audi and Jaguar and all of them, so it's a perfect opportunity to launch a service like this. So, as I said before, not to, you know, beat the dead horse here, we're electromobility services company that utilize a fleet of environmental friendly vehicles, mainly electric. We are open to hybrid, but we push for electric to actually provide green services. And we do follow the same business model as Uber and Lyft, generally, you know, concerning the whole ride sharing, but there's a twist. So because the unique technology that electric cars are, we're able to offer it at a low, flat fee, no surge pricing, while we're also giving back to the local community. So, there's a lot of people out there who want to replicate the same services, but I think with our approach, it's completely different than our competitors. So, as I said before, what a unique selling proposition is we're an all-electric fleet, or hybrids if we're open to that as well. Another aspect as well is that we have absolutely no surge pricing. When you're riding with Obsidian, you know the price that you have. One of the things people have is that you ride Uber, it'll say $30 now, and then you check 5 minutes later because you're running late, and all of a sudden it's $60. And you're like, how is this possible? Well, we know the technology behind it and all that, but the reason why we're able to do no surge pricing is because if you have electric cars that have lower costs, maintenance, etc., along the ad-based revenue model, we're able to offer those cost savings and the other revenue stream to offer a lower price. And because they're electric cars and have lower maintenance costs and the time factor and all of that, you're able to just offer that price, all the time rather than doing surge pricing. In that case, it can also, kind of obscure some customers. And then, like I said before, the ad-based business model. So every company has been doing it now. You see with your apps. But the main part of it is that we wish to partner with companies that are doing more dynamic, out-of-home services that I'll explain a little bit right now. So there's a company called Grabit, and Grabit actually uses a monitor that actually display in your car. So you're literally driving down the road. They use this a lot in New York, where you actually can see in somebody's window, hey, this ad is going on. So it not only brings attention to the vehicle, but then the person looks at this vehicle, like I own a BMW i3, so it's a very unique vehicle you can see over here. And they are like, wait a second, here's a screen, and then here's this really cool, weird car, what's going on here, and you already have that conversation starter. And that's why I wanted to do the company in a way to show people, here's electric cars, here's what we can talk about, riding in it and experiencing it will allow you to actually be more attracted to that option. So as the market opportunity, ride, transportation, courier services. Currently the market right now is about $50 billion in 2019. It's achieving an 11% annual growth rate between 2019 and 2023. The average revenue per user is about $750 for Uber and Lyft. We envision ourselves to be a little lower because we're starting off. Uber and Lyft are established. But one of our best competitive advantages is that with Uber and Lyft, they are legacy companies. And I'll explain this in this case. So you have companies like Tesla, who only build electric cars. They start electric cars, they only build them. Where the problem is with companies like GM, Ford, Chrysler, Audi, Jaguar, all of them, they still need to build gas-powered cars to maintain the profits to invest that into electrifying fleets. So it's harder for them to scale up to an electric car than, say, Tesla. Tesla just has to build more facilities. So it's the same case with Uber and Lyft. You hear in the news about them electrifying their fleets, 100 cars here, 100 cars there, maybe in Denver, maybe in LA, San Francisco. Cool, it's great. But there's millions of people who use Uber and Lyft and also who actually drive for them. And I highly, highly doubt that tomorrow they're gonna be able to make all those drivers convert to electric cars or hybrids. So what our advantage is just like Tesla. We are able to build this all-electric model from the beginning and scale up. Whereas in case Uber and Lyft, they're able to put something in there, but they're never able going to fully get their fleet to the point that they can make a dramatic impact in terms of being that kind of really environmentally conscious company that we strive to ourselves to be. And of course here, anyone utilizing the power of rideshare for modern transportation with the electric twist as well. So, as I mentioned before, we have partnered with Grabit. Actually, if you Google them online, you'll see they actually have some really cool technology in terms of actually doing the ads in the vehicles. It is going to be optional for the drivers. We envision the drivers would say, okay, we want to put this in there because everybody wants to make more money. That's why you even do Uber Lyft in the first place. So, as I mentioned before, this technology is actually called Dynamic Out-of-Home. It's a growing technology that we wish to also try to help Grabit with because most people don't even know this exists. Additionally, the social responsibility part, which is big for me. I have a background in international development. I served as Peace Corps volunteer on the African continent for a couple of years. So it's always a big thing for me about corporate social responsibility. Even my background, I worked there. We work with companies to make sure to give back. Because everybody wants to deal with a company or a product or a service where they're giving back to the community. It's the reason why you have companies like Coca-Cola who actually help women's groups in Africa with selling Coke. They make their money, but it's also good to empower women in the community. So it's the same asset we have here where we want to give back. A part of our sales will go back to historically black colleges and universities. We also want to just do local ones, but we have more focus on historically black college and universities because, you know, these days they are a little underfunded. They do provide great value for people in the community, and they're sometimes not the ones you hear in the news. And so we want to empower them as well because we want to make people of color also be part of the green evolution as well. The unfortunate part is that a lot of it's at the higher end group, which is, you know, generally more white and older males. But we know that with a lot of people of color, they're interested in technology, and we want to help. And if there's a way we can donate and also put our name out there, why not? So, again, we go back to our challenge question, the one we said earlier before. You heard all my information, good spiel, nice suit on, you know, all that stuff. But the question I have is, what is the best way to do this? How can we be lean and effective? There's something called the lean startup methodology, which is don't try to build everything, put a whole bunch of money out there, then it fails, because then you wasted time and you wasted your precious money. It was more of how can you utilize your current resources, people, products and services you already have ready available to actually build something like this. And for me, I'm already dealing with a promising technology. I'm already dealing with something that's way out there. So any ideas that are way out there that can work for me is great because there's a man named Elon Musk who left South Africa, you know, studied in Canada, came to the US at 17, dropped out of Stanford and started one of the most amazing companies that we all know. We see the cars all around because he decided to just go out there and venture out. We all celebrate the heroes of American capitalism that are willing to go out there with their crazy ideas and actually do these kind of things. So I'm just another guy with a crazy idea that wants to make it work. And if anybody here wants to partner, or at least give me feedback, good or bad, I'll take both. I'm much, you know, it's much appreciated here. So, again, this is my contact information. They should be able to provide some of the slides to you later on, but just in case you want to jot it down, we do have a website. The email address I have is unique to this, is working a little funny, but I still want to provide one just in case you want to email me. And we are on Instagram under Obsidian Cars. We're also on Facebook as well as Obsidian Cars. So help spread the word, and I look forward to everybody's feedback.
Rodney,
So,
go back one slide.
Okay, one slide.
go back one.
There you go.
Cool, perfect.
So, great presentation, and thank you so much. So now we're gonna have questions and some answers. My guidance to you is answer as follows. Thank you so much, that was a great idea. Here's a very short explanation, because the key is getting the questions out. Okay, even though we do care what you think, it's more critical that you hear the questions and suggestions that are being taped. And with that, I'll open up the questions. Basil, then Chris, and hold your hands up, and I'll try to Tony.
Yeah, my question is, just clarify for me, you're looking for a network of what? For cars, for drivers, for people who have electrical cars, for people who have electrical cars? What is the network going to be?
Sure, thank you for your question. Let me explain a little further there. So we're looking for a variety of things. So they're first like the network of cars. So we obviously know that there are people who already own electric vehicles. Partnering with them, trying to figure out the best way to make them aware that we want to build something like this, make them partners. Because Uber and Lyft drivers are out there, but a lot of them feel like they're just drivers. And even in cases like the state of California, they actually have now mandated where you're not just a driver, you're actually an employee. So my approach to the company is I want to treat people like they're co-partners, they're business owners in a way. They actually have potentially an equity stake in the company, because without them, I wouldn't be able to function.
Chris. Yes. So this is really a question, I guess, and you've obviously thought about this because you put it up there, but a question about one of the key parts of your business model is the surge pricing. Yes. So maybe it's not a popular opinion, but from a business perspective, I think surge pricing makes a lot of sense on both the consumer and the driver side. So from a consumer side, if it's raining and there's no surge pricing, you might not have a car available, or you might be willing to pay more to get a ride when one's not otherwise available, or if there's a high capacity event like a concert letting out. From the driver perspective, that's the reason Uber and Lyft offer those surge pricing, to incentivize more drivers to come into the network at high demand times. So without that, how will you generate that balance, especially if competitors are doing it? And I guess I don't really expect a full-on answer, but it's something to really think about for you.
Sure. Well, thank you, Chris, for that. And yeah, I agree with there where I do have an answer there, but like you said, you made me really think the way you're saying there. So I do agree that if you take it from an economic standpoint, surge pricing does make sense. I don't disagree with that. I just think that there's a better way to do it. And I think that if we could achieve, and we found through a general market survey and our own research that we can achieve no surge pricing, that would be a better incentive for people to ride with. But like I said, we're in the early stages. We can always grow, be more dynamic. So down the road, it might be surge pricing, but we just do it in a better manner.
So, great presentation. I have several comments with regards to the surge pricing concept, but my question is more to the actual challenge question, which I've had a few more days than others to think about.
Absolutely.
Having studied Uber and Lyft ad nauseum, what you have to do is you have to create the demand for the service before you'll get the drivers to start adopting. Okay, so even if it's, you know, and it might seem frustrating at first that people are sitting there going on and can't find a driver and complaining. Okay, that's fine, but until the drivers start getting busy all day long, you know, like Uber and Lyft does, what's going to happen is that you're not going to get people interested in adopting. Plus, the cars are right now still a little bit more expensive, and there has to be that incentive because most of the people I know who have Teslas, you sit there and say, hey, you want to go, drive Uber or Lyft, and they look at you like, yeah, right, no. Okay? Which means that what you're going to have to do is probably work out something with Tesla to lease the vehicles to your drivers or to the company in some kind of a partnership program to get more cars on the road to get them to use them. All right? Because once you have the demand for people wanting the rides and you can show the demand, then drivers will start adopting and start driving the cars because then they're making money. No driver wants to sit down the side of the road for 4 hours waiting for that drive, that signal to come up and say they got a ride.
No, I agree. Thank you for that. And actually, Tony, you read my mind. So actually, that was the approach I did. So Tesla had previously an enterprise program where you actually go and just do exclusively fleets for cars, maybe like 20 or more, or even smaller ones. So I did reach out to them. And there was a conversation going, and that's when Tesla was going through what they call production hell. And some other things as well, and so they actually eliminated their enterprise program. So it was like, well, that conversation's there, where do we go from there? So they're now favoring more of, if you have a fleet, you can do it, but they want to be more towards the consumer side. So that conversation again, now that Tesla's in a better position, as we all see on the news, I think I will re-engage them to
pitch them leasing the used vehicles.
Oh, yes. But let me add one more thing. I just remembered. So as you know, Tesla can be a potential competitor for us as well because Tesla's actually using Model 3s and the power and technology of autopilot to create a robo-taxi network. So they're trying to have it where they just have self-driving cars that are ride-sharing. So the partnership we see in the short term could be there, but long term, depending on where the company goes, Tesla actually will be one of our major competitors in 3 to 5 years. Thank you.
Russ, Rosemarie, that gentleman there, 1, 2.
Oh wow, so many questions.
All right.
That's
So
why
you
you
said
keep the
your
answers short, right?
Yeah.
You said your target audience is 18 and 35. Have you thought about going to the local universities and colleges? Last night, George Mason had a homecoming kickoff, which had about 50 different local businesses over at the George Mason Center, and you could have been one of the presenters there and talked to them more about it, help build up the hype. The 18 and 35-year-olds are the ones buying it, are the ones spending the money for it. Great location. There's a dozen other colleges just in a 20-mile radius of here, so I'll look into doing some sort of events with them. Their colleges are constantly doing something every month. There's another event. Get attached to one of those events somehow.
Well, thank you, Russ. And actually, it's funny because I am an alum of George Mason, so I did see the homecoming. And that is actually a great idea. This is actually something I wish I was going to explore. Somehow I got lost in the mess of trying to do other things. So I'll definitely take your suggestion. Great.
Great presentation. Thank you for bringing the idea. I had 2 thoughts. One, kind of to Tony's thought. A lot of current owners of all electric vehicles probably don't need the supplemental income that would come with ride sharing. But there are a lot of companies making plug-in cars that actually need to get them out on the road. Tesla not being one of those companies. But all the other major plates have full electric cars. Ford just rolled out a Mustang SUV that's 100% electric. And so that might be a better approach. Even one of the local mega dealers to work with them on a leasing program. And then actually driving demand, GMU's a great idea. I think your target sweet spot is a little younger than what you have, right? Over 18, under 25, and really closer to 18. A lot of folks in that area, very, very green conscious, very, very non-car owners, very mobile, right? So it's kind of, they're native to this notion of an app taking them somewhere. Just quick question.
Sure.
You didn't talk about your app. Are you pre-app stage at this moment?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Rosemary. I agree with all that. I'm taking it right here.
I got it written down so you don't
Yeah,
forget.
oh, great reminder. Please write your questions down. We'll collect them. Put your name, email, and phone number so we can reach out. Sir. Yeah.
Just a couple great presentation.
Thank you.
Couple comments. I agree with the certain pricing comments. I also wonder about the ad-based revenue model as something really worth emphasizing, given that investors tend to shy away from those types of revenue models. It seems like it's more of a sponsor-based revenue model rather than actual, like, a numbers game with ads. So I think that might need to be spun a little bit.
Sure.
Also, just as by way of example, I was outside my house one day and I saw my neighbors taking pictures with a car. And I stopped. I was like, "What's going on?" They're like, "Oh, this is the first time we've ever had an Uber that was a Tesla," and they were taking pictures with Tesla. So they were like, there was an element of like that premium sort of luxury quality to it that they were really excited about as they become more ubiquitous in the market. Maybe not Walmart. Interesting choice.
Thank you.
Okay. It's over here. 2, 3, 4, and then Jen.
About the liability. After 2 years of asking Uber drivers, do you have any clue about the insurance contract that Uber says they have in place for you in case something happens? And nobody has any clue. Did you partner with any company that would draft a comprehensive insurance contract that covers the car while the clients are in, and the driver actually knows exactly when he's covered, what is covered? Did you ever consider hiring drivers who have already a social responsibility marked by the level of liability limits on their own personal contract? Because if somebody's running on 2550 and 2040 in Virginia, and that's how much they are willing to pay to others, they are not socially responsible enough.
John with Fish and Explore, great presentation, Rodney, and I think you're onto something that's either going to be like, really huge, really fast, or you're going to be running really hard. For clarity for me, first there was as far as your competition, there was news today about Tesla's self-driving cars and some issues. So I think that's further away than we think. But is your model fleet based or gig economy based? And when I didn't quite get that clarity. Are you trying to be just like Uber and Lyft, or are you providing a fleet? And I have an add-on question based on that.
Thank you, John, for that. And the quick answer is we want to be more gig-based, empowering the drivers who want to build their own businesses through doing fleet services.
Okay. All right. I just my only add-on was then, as kind of like what was mentioned earlier, but Tesla might not even be the market that you want to look at. Ford. I run a small fleet, and Ford's been approaching me about trying to get me to move to different electric vehicles.
Oh.
So Ford, GMC, and they're out there trying to promote those things.
Dan, Jen, Cleveland, Jeff, then you.
Keep them coming.
Dan Linder, Oklahoma. Couple of comments, and then I'll address your challenge question. So you talked a lot about Tesla. So if you're going to charge the same price as what others charge, Teslas are expensive vehicles, right? So the comment is, I'm curious how your revenue model, because if you're going to change them out on a much more expensive vehicle, how are you going to make money? And then I think the just hitching your wagon to Tesla is something that I would question. Maybe like somebody else, Rosemary and John and Tony have said about like Nissan Leaf, and there's a Ford vehicle, and even hybrids they get better mileage in town than they do. I mean, most of your trips probably they get better mileage than if they're using their gas engine. So I would think about maybe diversifying, because just hitching to Tesla, and Tesla's unpredictable as a company anyhow, right? So with your challenge question, my first thought is that your audience is maybe not 18 to 35, because I don't see most 18 to 35s are, that's a big range, riding around in Teslas so much as they want to ride when they want it, right? So they may say they're environmentally conscious, but when it comes to a Friday night and they're standing in the rain, they're going to take whatever car is going to come their way. So, but I think people that have the money and that that want to ride in a Tesla or something like that are more your clients, and it may not be the 18 to 35. So, thank you.
Just want to make one comment for Dan's session. So actually, I drive a BMW i3. It's actually parked in the garage. So I am open to other companies, because we all know Audi, Jaguar, and all of them as well. And I agree with you where concerning they just want something that's out there rather than particular Tesla. I just made Tesla as an example since everyone knows that electric car. But thank you for your questions.
I think I'm over to Joe.
So many questions. I think that I love the model. Two thoughts I would throw out there if you're trying to get needs and adoption. I would look at which electric cars are no longer qualifying for tax credits, because they may want to find a way to help compensate and pay for the car. And I would look at purchasing the electronic Ford, right? Reaching out to get the Mustang, to get the cool stuff, because there will be people who care about that. I would love for you to flesh out the idea of ownership equity. I think that's really powerful. And think of, sadly, I order from DoorDash and Grubhub often, and I feel very guilty that I cannot say I only want this delivered in an electric car. So I would look at who can you partner with from companies like that, companies like Sweetgreen, who have a huge following, or maybe you are the delivery service, and they make that an extension of their company, because there have got to be companies who care about that and don't want gas cars doing that. I also would talk with the county, who has a very aggressive green program, and see if you can become the preferred provider and start from the ground up. Talk with electric installation companies, because you need to find the electric car drivers who have the Ford and the Prius and the lower end who are looking for additional income, because they're out there, and I do think they're 35 and under. I would not go younger.
So two things. One, I wasn't clear on when you said your target audience. Were you talking about your target for using your service or for building your network? Right. That one, you can. And then the second piece is, we talked about all the other offerings, if you will, and brands for electric vehicles, and you might want to think about, just throwing this out there before you answer the question, but you might want to think about Tesla for fleets in large cities where no one wants to drive, but they want to ride in an electric vehicle, a luxury vehicle, instead of it being a gas guzzling Lincoln Continental. It could be a nice Tesla, but you probably would have to go the fleet route. So then partnering with someone would make a whole lot of sense. And then finally, if you don't have an app, how are people going to get a hold of it?
Sure. Well, thank you again for those three great questions. Let me answer the first one and the last one that's going on there. So the first one, the target audience is for our users. Obviously, the people who are actually going to be driving the cars are going to be a variety of ages that are going on there. And then for the last question, we are currently starting with the site first and then building towards the app. Because there are services out there where you can build ride sharing through the website first. Doing an app can be very expensive, and in a beginning stage, you don't want to be putting all your money there while you're trying to build a service. So,
okay, good. Thank you.
No problem.
Jeff, Tony, That woman, that woman. Apologize, I don't know everyone's name.
Again, excellent presentation.
Never read that
To go right back to your question, I think for your business, given the capital requirements and also the speed to market, I would recommend highly that you're an ideal business for an incubator. And I would recommend you taking a look at the various incubators around here and in New York City. They could be very excited about what you do.
Tony?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a wrench into it, and I usually don't, I try not to do two questions, but I'm gonna do it this time. Go to a hybrid limousine model. In other words, make it so it's reservation-based, VIP clients only, because they're the ones who are probably going to be more likely to want to use an electric vehicle, all right, as opposed to, say, leasing a limousine for certain events. That way your drivers know in advance that day or even further who they're driving, when they're driving, and they can have the vehicles prepared. You can charge a premium price, and then you can abandon the surge pricing because it's already they're paying a premium price for it. Because now what you're doing is you're a step above all of the other driving vehicles out there, but you're taking that bit away from the limousine market because limousines are expensive. You have 4-hour limits and stuff, or minimums and stuff like that. So for instead of $1,000 for half a day for the car, they get yours for say $200 or $300 for a couple of hours, and they're driving in a conscientious vehicle. And you can even add on to marketing with that by sitting there saying that a portion of their fit rate goes back to conscientious programs.
Perfect. But I have a question for you. Do you want to be my COO? That's what I'm saying. We are hiring.
I've already wrote down the part, but we can talk more. You know my phone number.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think I'm coming over here now, right?
Did I hear you correctly when you said this is supposed to be empowering drivers to own electric cars?
Well, empowering them to use, like some cases, like we were saying before, we have a deal possibly with somebody that actually could own an electric car, like they are actually buying. But in some cases where they actually already have an existing one, where they're actually able to showcase the power of the technology to people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the follow-up question
Sure.
to that is there an aspect to this, as you have it laid out today,
Yes.
things can change, that enables like a lease to own option, but then the service, so when I sign to be a driver, and I'm like, oh, I may not be able to afford a Tesla today, but as I drive with this program, I could own one in the future. Is there like a financing element to this for them to buy the car?
Not yet, but you gave me a great idea to do so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so my question. I'm sorry.
No.
Okay, so did you mention that? Did you say that you were going to deliver food or commodities? Because I just wanted to let you know about this one other startup that is supposed to launch in February. I don't have like confirmation on if it launches. It's a company that I follow on LinkedIn, but it's called UNHAR, UNHAR, and they're describing themselves as a Uber Eats for consumer goods, where, cause like Uber Eats, you can order food and get it within a certain time frame, but this one allows you to search for commodities. So if you're going to specialize in green, perhaps you could partner with them to deliver green commodities.
That was a great aspect. Thank you very much.
Marcel, and then you, and that will be the last question, right? The two questions. Pretty close, right?
This was alluded to before. You have the statistics that 85% of people who try an electric car will buy one, or are interested in buying one. You mentioned that. How do you know that the share riders are really concerned or are willing to go for the green ride as opposed to something else?
Okay. Actually, can you speak up just a little bit? I can hear you.
I see, you mentioned, this was alluded before, you said that 85% of the people testing electric cars are interested in buying one.
Correct.
You have that data. How do you know that the consumer, the share riders, are really concerned that they have to have absolutely an electrical ride or something else? Do you have that information?
Do not, but let me interject with this one. So as we said before, we are interested in maybe plug-in hybrids or whatnot there. So we are willing to incorporate any type of more green technology in the fleet. And I think that a way that helps to. Oh yes, can you hear me now, everybody? Yes, perfect. One of the aspects we have is that with the ride shares, you say generating an interest is more of training the drivers, particularly these drivers who hope to be the ones who actually already have previous experience with electric cars, maybe they might be new, to hear in the conversation about the person and answer their questions and get them to have a better general understanding of the cars. So that way that person feels engaged to say, okay, I may want electric, or no, actually that is a long commute, I want to do more like a plug-in hybrid. So giving that flexibility in terms of awareness and education too.
Distracted driving is cool.
And our second to last question of the morning, right? Go ahead.
Thanks again for presenting. We always appreciate the time. I am nervous about the rideshare capacity, but you know, if you can prove it out and it's going to work, I wish you luck. I really find fascinating the courier side concept, and where I can see it really aligning is if you when you're committed to the model of I'm not going to employ the car or have the cars, I'm going to be using drivers. Is a courier service that is specific, and you can really highlight the green, is contracting with small businesses with remote and virtual teams. A lot of them are actually going to that decision based on the idea that they want to be more green and socially aware. So a lot of them will align with the concepts that you already have. And these small businesses, they might only have 3 people, but they could be on a monthly retainer or subscription of some kind that allow them to have so many courier services in exchange. What most people do is just go, tomorrow will have to be good enough, and they use FedEx or UPS, but you could really say when tomorrow is not good enough, right? When they need it today. Because there's still, even though we're a digital world, people do like their paper, their product, I need to see plan to hold it. So I really think that there's a possibility of aligning and creating a market there that's a differentiator for you. I have to admit, I don't know if there's one out there already doing that, but I think that's where you can get drivers to commit, get the alignment, and then you've got a base of people that already have remote and virtual teams locally, so it would be a great resource.
Perfect, thank you for the suggestion.
Well, Rodney, number one, thank you for your answers to the question.
Yeah.
Our last question for you is, what else do you feel 1Million Cups can do for you?
Well, I think you guys have done the biggest job here, which is generating an audience here, give me some great feedback. You're promoting me on social media and all that's going on there. So I'm very satisfied of what you guys have been able to provide for me, and I recommend for anybody else too. So.
Well, thank you again. He gets the honor, right? We're not done with you yet, Rodney.
So, thank you, Ronnie, again for great presentation and great business concept. And on behalf of Fairfax County 1Million Cup chapter, we would like to present you with this coveted 1Million Cups. Okay.
Turn it on.
All right.
There we go.
Stop.
Too far.
Go forward.
Okay, great. So I'm just standing back there listening to all the creativity, the feedback, different perspective, because we have such a diverse group of people from different backgrounds and different experiences and expertise. And you look at the one business, you know, it's a single challenge, but we all come from a different, looking at a different perspective. And so if you are a small business owner, or you know somebody who's looking to every business owner has a business challenge, right? So please let them know about this group, and should they wish to apply to present, they can do so on our website. Apply at 1millioncups.com Fairfax. As far as the presenter is concerned, for the next couple of weeks and a couple of months, February, we have, you can see the presenters lined up all the way through March, and I think through April. And so if you're looking to present one, we're probably looking around May time, but don't let that discourage you. So please present and let people know. All right, so can't believe it's been 2 years already. So we're actually today is our 2-year anniversary?
No,
Tomorrow.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Because we love business.
Because love.
Okay.
But this is the week. So
It's the week.
Yes.
Of 2 years. And we're actually celebrating 2-year anniversary tomorrow at Chima Steakhouse. 6
Fancy.
to 9 p.m. So you're all invited. We have chapters, local chapters around this area are also going to be participating. And so, how many people signed up so far?
77 right now.
Yeah, so it's
Whoa.
gonna be a great turnout.
But we'd like to have a lot more,
Yeah, absolutely.
and there is
John,
opportunity to
should
sponsor
announce
still.
There are a couple of sponsors, I believe, aren't there?
Yeah, so we have sponsorship open, so if you would like to sponsor for our event, you can talk to Tony about it. We'll welcome the sponsorship. And
Who's one of our sponsors right now? Do you
Yeah.
remember?
And Mayosha, yeah.
yes,
And
Maya
And Myosha.
and
Kudos to
Donnell,
them.
thank you
Kudos
for
to them.
bringing us.
If you want a chance to present your materials at the event and speak to all the
70
attendees,
plus people.
yeah, there's
So
plenty of
please,
time
yeah.
to still step in and sponsor. The more sponsors we have, the more food we'll have.
Please talk to Tony.
So with the sponsorship, I just want to let you guys know it's not expensive. All we're doing is just splitting the food bill. The more people that we have to split the food bill makes it easier for us to have good food while you're there. And then you'll also be able to put out information, something, basically to your business. So please, get with Tony and see if you can be a sponsor of this event. It's a great event. You have 70 plus people. I mean, that's, almost triple the size of what we have in this room right now. And then there are some pretty cool people because they've been a part of this organization for our 2 years. So.
And we're gonna have happy hour pricing, and it's complimentary valet parking, although I still recommend that you tip the guy, but still. That way you can park in the garages or you can just park right there, but it's a great event, great location, a lot of fun people, and if you wanna come hang out with us and get to know us better one-on-one, this is the right place to do it.
All right, well, thank you, Tony. So if you can also pass the index card across the way, we're gonna collect it. And so,
Tony.
if you know event that's coming up, would like to let the group know, please raise your hand and I can sort of maybe, okay, Brazil?
Yes, thank you. The annual celebration of the Million Cups is tomorrow. So I definitely wanted to be there and I'll be there myself.
Okay.
The annual celebration of my organization will be on February 20th in Fairfax at the American Legion from 7:30 to 9. You are all invited. Fireworks, lamps coming through the roof, champagne, cakes, you name it.
What?
We're bringing everything. Looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Fireworks.
Anyone else?
Through the steam.
I know that Sylvia touched on it earlier, but there is a lunch and learn today in Office Evolution. So if you want to hear about 5 top issues that most business owners face with HR, 401k, tax stuff, and also just a brief overview of payroll, please feel free to join
Yes,
us.
you can hang out for a couple hours and then join us at Lunch and Learn. Colin?
I just want to let everybody know, May 5th, I have a full-day event called Boss Moves Masterclass. It's where we walk through the actual process of being the boss and managing your people and how you can actually step confidently into setting expectations and getting the most high-functioning team you want. Thank you very much.
Brett?
Our organization is hosting a cybersecurity conference up in Westminster, Maryland, for anyone who commutes from there or around the area. But we'll have speakers from NSA, Google, Lockheed, PSA. So it's May 8th. If you are in cybersecurity, come on up to Westminster on May 8th.
Okay.
This afternoon from 12 to 1 is my monthly Fairfax business meeting. Middle of the month, middle of the week, middle of the day. Today from 12 to 1 at Patriots Pub and Grill. Our speaker is going to be Jennifer Rose with the Central Fairfax Chamber of Commerce. The next week, Thursday the 20th, from 5:30 to 7 p.m., we're going to have young professionals, young at heart, networking mix and mingle at Dolce Vita in Fairfax.
Well, fantastic. And Rosemary?
So just a reminder, February 26th, DCA live event in Clarendon. 2020 Red Hat Entrepreneurs, Javier and I will be among the celebrants there. So we would love for you guys to come.
Fantastic. Tony?
Okay, so sticking with the sponsorship vein, on May 7th, the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce is holding the 8th annual Business to Government Matchmaking Conference. This is an event that I created 8 years ago, and we have opportunities for sponsors. If you want to have a sponsor table where you'll be able to have one-on-one discussions with probably about 300 small businesses in the government contracting space on the trade show floor. So, you know, there are opportunities for sponsor. We're currently filling up the table, so anybody who wants to have a chance to sponsor at that event, please let me know. Reach out to me. I'll have business cards and stuff like that, or you can just go to the chamber website and take a look, and then reach out to the chamber and pick out your spot.
Okay, great. And, yep.
So real quick, I just want to recognize, I can't remember your name, but the crew that came out, drove 2 hours this morning from Westminster. So they're going to be starting the 1 Million Cups in Westminster, and they chose our chapter to see how it's done, and so hopefully you got some great information and feedback from it. So thank you for coming out. And we're extending our hands to assist you in any way that we can to make your chapter great. So thank you for coming out.
No, thank you. Well, thank you. And with that,
hold on.
Oh,
So I know everybody loves veterans. Everybody loves veterans, right?
Yeah. Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Hold on. Especially you.
You, especially me?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you guys are
All right.
awesome.
All right, you got the camera, my friend.
So on March 14th, we're having a veteran business pop-up where we're showcasing 40 veteran-owned businesses. The only thing that I need you to do is show up and support veteran-owned businesses. It's at the Dale City Volunteer Fire Department. Please come out. It's a great time. You don't have to be a veteran to support veterans. However, you do need to come there with your money to come spend and support veteran-owned businesses. We really need your support, and come out and have a great time with us. We have flyers on the table over here. Please grab one. Even if you can't make it, share it with a friend. Thank you so much, and I appreciate it, and thank you for supporting our veteran community.
Thank you.
all right. I think that's a wrap. So thank you again. We'll see you next Wednesday.